All right, let's jump in. Whether you're prepping for a Scrum Master interview or maybe just looking to get deeper into Agile, we've been digging into the new Scrum Guide Extension Pack 2025.
Yeah.
And we've pulled out what we think are the top 7 questions and answers that could really, set you apart.
And what's really interesting, I think, is how these ideas show the Scrum Master's role evolving. It's
Hmm.
demanding a much more nuanced view of their impact, way beyond just the team itself.
Exactly. It feels much bigger. So let's tackle these questions head on. First one, how has the Scrum Master role actually evolved with this extension pack?
Well, the big emphasis is on the Scrum Master as a change agent, someone who's actively, fostering organizational coherence, making sure different parts of the company are pulling in the same direction,
Okay, coherence.
and also championing psychological safety. That's huge. Creating that space where people feel safe enough to speak up, experiment, maybe even fail without fear of blame.
Right.
And it also talks about enabling emergent leadership bubbling up from the team, not just dictated from the top. It's really about influencing the whole system.
Influencing the system, that's a definite step up from maybe just facilitating meetings. So practically, how does a Scrum Master encourage that emergent leadership, especially if they're in like a more traditional company?
Yeah, good question. Often it means the Scrum Master needs to consciously step back sometimes, create the space for others to step in.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they facilitate a tough conversation differently, or they coach team members on how to tackle impediments themselves rather than just jumping in to fix it for them.
Yeah.
It's empowerment, really.
Empowerment, not just doing. I like that. So building on that foundation, how do the Scrum values, you know, courage, focus, commitment, respect, openness, how do they actually support empiricism, especially with these new insights?
The pack makes some really explicit connections here. It ties the values directly to psychological safety, which we just mentioned, that safety net for learning. It also links them to constructive dissent. So encouraging healthy debate, challenging ideas respectfully to get to better solutions.
Okay.
And there's a strong connection made to the ODA loop. That's observe, orient, decide, act. It's all about making fast, evidence-based decisions in complex situations. So the values become the bedrock for that rapid learning and adapting.
Ah, okay. So it's getting really practical now, linking those values directly to like how you make decisions quickly. Okay, next up, the guide mentions a self-managing Scrum team. How is that concept different now?
It really clarifies it as collective self-management. It's not just individuals doing their own thing. The whole team takes ownership.
The whole team.
Yeah, they resolve their own conflicts internally. They actively try to learn bits of each other's work, cross-skilling, and they practice what the pack calls aligned autonomy.
Aligned autonomy. Sounds a bit like a paradox.
Kind of, but it means freedom within clear boundaries and a shared purpose. So you have autonomy, but it's aligned with where the team and organization need to go. It's about the team navigating complexity together, not just individuals.
Got it. Collective navigation aligned towards a goal. That makes sense. Okay, another interesting distinction. Output done versus outcome done.
Yeah.
How does the extension pack separate those?
This is a really key shift, I think. Output done is basically the technical completion. Like, is the code written? Is the feature built? Checkbox ticked.
Uh-huh. The what?
Exactly. But outcome done asks, so what? Did it actually deliver value? Did we solve the user's problem? Did it achieve the impact we wanted? It shifts the focus from just producing stuff to validating the value of that stuff.
That really raises the bar, doesn't it? Asking teams and Scrum Masters, are you delivering real value or just shipping features? Okay, so thinking bigger picture again, how can a Scrum Master support Scrum adoption across the whole organization, not just their team?
It positions the Scrum Master firmly in a broad change leadership role. This means actively collaborating with these newly defined supporters, folks in HR, legal, finance, other departments who can help or hinder agility.
Right, the wider system.
Exactly. It involves challenging those ingrained organizational inefficiencies or processes that block agility and really influencing the system to create a culture of continuous learning, building bridges, removing systemic obstacles.
So it's way beyond team coaching. It's moving towards like organizational transformation. Let's get practical then. How would you actually engage a manager who's maybe a bit resistant, but who is now identified as one of these crucial supporters?
Yeah, the resistant supporter, tricky one. First step is always empathy, right? Try to genuinely understand their perspective, their pressures, their concerns. Don't just label them resistant.
Okay, start with understanding.
Then, rather than a big bang approach, propose a small, safe-to-fail experiment. Maybe you suggest focusing on a specific fast feedback loop for just one sprint that involves them.
Like a trial run.
Exactly. Show them directly how their involvement may be removing a specific policy bottleneck or providing certain data directly helps the team deliver a tangible win, something that might even help their objectives. It's about demonstrating the benefit to them and the system. Show, don't just tell.
Makes sense. Show them the what's in it for them in their new supporter role.
Okay, last question. The guide really doubles down on emergence in complex work. How might you say redesign sprint events to really foster those emergent solutions?
You lean into safe-to-fail experiments throughout the sprint. So in sprint planning, you might frame the sprint goal more like a hypothesis we want to test rather than a concrete plan set in stone.
Okay, a hypothesis.
During the daily scrum, shift the focus away from just what I did yesterday towards collaborative problem solving on the sprint goal. How can we, together, move this forward today? Let solutions bubble up.
Or collaborative problem solving. Yeah. And then, crucially, in the retrospective, you explicitly look for and amplify unexpected discoveries or solutions that emerged. What did we learn that we didn't expect? And you consciously protect the team against premature convergence that's, jumping to a conclusion or solution too quickly before exploring the space.
So really building in mechanisms to embrace the uncertainty and let better answers emerge over time. Okay, that's powerful.
And if you tie all these threads together, you see the Scrum Master role becoming much more strategic. It's less about just policing the framework rules,
Right.
and much more about that systemic influence, fostering adaptive learning, created conditions for agility across the board.
So the big takeaway for you listening, as you think about your next role or just improving how you work now, the question becomes, how will you show that you can be that true change agent? Not just within a team, but influencing and improving the whole organization. Something to think about.